Hi Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm Susan, your intuitive, and this is your reading for July 2025, Cancer season 2025. And Uranus is finally moving out of your sign. It's been there for 8 years. It's going into your second house, which your first house has been prepared for that. So it's nice. It'll be a release to your identity, to your energy, especially because it's kind of like how Virgo placements can be in a way. I'm just thinking of that right now, of just like how there's this build up and fall and build up and fall with your energy levels. Like you had probably some amazing experiences, but at the same time your nervous system probably took a hit, or you got exposed to where your nervous system just was not held at the same place as your identity and or what you projected versus reality. And that's a little bit of the notes that I have written down for you today. It is hot, so I'm going to be taking sips of water. And I want to tell you that it's really important that the people that you love and trust the most get to see that real side of you. And we'll talk more about it, but I'm going to let the cards fall out first because it's looking like they're wanting to be very specific with you, Taurus. Three of Wands. You haven't, as much as even, if you're someone who has been dream-oriented, depending on your other placements, I know it doesn't always sound like Taurus, but they find a way to live their dreams somehow or do things that they love somehow, even if they have to sacrifice for their chosen security or what their nervous system's security system is. And now that you've been through so much, I hope that while you take this moment to expand your horizons, expand your creativity, there's a lot going on this month. There's a lot going on this year. There's just a lot going on, period. It's really up to you to find your version of the world that you're looking for you as an individual. We don't realize how much that serves the collective. And there's a part of you, and that brings me back to that part of you, Three of Cups on the bottom of the deck, that only shows perhaps one side of you. I think this might be specific for Taurus risings. However, maybe emotionally for suns and moons, I would say, perhaps. But there's a whole persona that, whether you're told this or not, whether you assume this about yourself, because you can tell when people assume your character, or when you've been around certain people for so long. For some people that's family. If you have friends for a long period of time, we assume these roles of ourselves, of each other. And I was thinking about assumption lately. I think about it a lot because in Kabbalah, it's called evil eyeing. And I believe this is something I wanted to talk to you about as well, because it's about how it, like, what I wrote down is revolutionizing the assumptions that shape your reality, because you're not someone that is always moving slow. There's dynamic movements to you. And however, it may take you some time to process, heal, and move through some things that others may intellectualize or move through quicker. You have also a lot going on in your 12th house, and 2 retrogrades are going to station in your 12th house. So again, your view of dreams, security, and versus how you're communicating. Some of you who are more resistant to change in these particular foundational ways, the Three of Wands says it's time to open up your horizons. And that could be through your connections even. What connections you're finding you're surprisingly more open to. And the ones that you seem to be a little bit more closed off to, you may notice a difference. And 3 is a big communication number. Now, Jupiter is in your third house. The sun is in your third house for, again, Taurus risings. But either way, for all Tauruses, you're going to want to communicate your wins and celebrate with certain people. And you start to notice that. What you also recognize is that we all have our shit. We all have our judgments, and usually they come back right at us. You know, call it karma, call it whatever you want. But that's the shit that happens. And that something you realize is that there's a certain amount, not a certain amount, but there's like, in your life right now, there's an energetic capacity that you're finding. And it may stay here for a while you get your feet into Uranus, into your second house. While you get your feet wet with that, or your body, whatever that is, you may find yourself just going with what's bringing the least amount of resistance. It's not that you're impatient. It's not that you don't like them. It's just that you're noticing that whatever is more easeful in your life right now is okay. It's actually for a reason. And I think that's with maturity, but it's also just this different perspective of closeness, different perspective of planning, like letting certain things, like not that you don't let things fall through, but just letting certain things go that you can look back in the past 8 years and be like, that was a little harder, or that took a little bit more energy. And there's this certain trust of flow, which I also have written down here too. And it's why people trust you, Taurus. There's something about the way that people trust you and the way that you're speaking about your values and what you value, and the time, perhaps you possibly feel like you may be valuing time more too, and you may be speaking about that. You're realizing, if the effort I'm putting in, is it because I don't love this, or do I have to love it? It's more of like, what are the other stressors in my life that I am just used to maybe managing, doing because you want to do something, and or you feel like you're stuck, like there's a part of you that feels stuck, so you change your external, maybe you travel more, whatever it is, that you're starting to pull back and seeing life differently. Like, what did Uranus show you about the adventure that's in your life and who you are, and no matter what it is that you do is cool, and it's what you're doing, and it's what you want to do, and whatever you're wanting to do and you put your energy into, whether you notice it or not, that's going to be exposed to you. And it's not like, oh, you just want to be cool. It's about, what is it about the cool person that people gravitate towards? Well, on the outside, they're calm, they're collective, like they just, you know, they might be trendsetters, whatever that may be, very like Venus qualities, of course. But I would say there's a few others as well. And this has been the card of the month so far, is the Six of Wands, and we'll bring it out. It's because you just like what you like, and you're getting so used to attuning to what you like and how that brings you so much more energy, and or giving your energy to what also feeds you energy, and also making space when you don't have enough energy. I was just chatting the other day, and it was within a few conversations that something had me realize that I've probably heard this before, but in another way, is I like to do certain hair masks. I like to do certain routines with myself, some more regularly than not, but I'm very intuitive with certain things, as why I'm here with you. Is there's certain things I keep up with that even if I'm like tired at night, or I could just go chill, I know that doing that for myself will actually give me more energy than I'm spending on doing the thing. So, and because of that, I continue to do it. I mean, do I let it go sometimes? Of course. But it's because I realized that moving through and being triumphant and being courageous and having confidence. I mean, isn't confidence like more than half the battle for some of us? And this person wears a wreath on his head and on his wand, and he's moving forward, and there's a feeling of respect that you get from this card. There's a feeling of confidence that you get from this card. There's a feeling of this person has wisdom or has gained wisdom in their life, and they're now putting it in their life. They're moving it forward. And that's coming from that Eight of Pentacles of really speaking to what you value. Even if it feels like you haven't really spoken about it, it's a new view of yourself. Great, let people in. Let people in on it. People trust you so much that I think sometimes I feel like I see this with Tauruses, depending on the Taurus, of course, but you can listen to everyone's stuff, and at the end of the day, like, is anybody, like, it's like at the end of the, like, hangout session with someone or a date, you're almost like, oh, but like, how are you doing? And it's like you have just a few minutes left, and I'm exaggerating, but it can cause this. And I think there's a part of it, it's like just being present and being in a beautiful space or a beautiful environment that you're willing to just be a part of that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you're starting to notice like where that output needs to go. Mars is in your 5th house. It's time to express and let these vulnerabilities out of you, and like, use your voice. I'm like, what? Use your voice. Use your voice. Use your voice. I thought I was like losing my voice. This string card, man, this Mercury retrograde is gonna probably be crazy. So Mercury's in Leo, Mars is in Virgo. This is 4th house stuff. So your foundations that have been touched over time and time again with communication, with the Mars and Leo and Cancer, this is just showing you what vulnerability, like literally what I was just talking about, what vulnerabilities that you do need to get off your heart, but how you creatively want to express them. It doesn't have to necessarily be this like really important conversation that you need to have with someone. So this is just, I have the fan blowing on me and my hair needs some softening, but I enjoy the texture. So you may need to get something off your heart, get something off your chest. Whether it's to a loved one, again, the sun is in your house of like close people, siblings. You may feel more sentimental at this time. You may find yourself feeling, and this really relates to everything we just talked about, just feeling so protective over your own energy, how you've reparented yourself, feeling just this connection through your ancestry, this healing through your ancestry. It could bring up sacred anger, sacred sadness. Everything's sacred, everything. But you can feel it. There's this feeling, and it's just wanting to express and move through you and through your heart. Because what's happening is you're all of a sudden, after 8 years, and you've already started to develop this and you feel this, but after 8 years, there's this assurity about your value and your worth and about where you're at, regardless of where that is. And there's an acceptance that brings so much courage, that brings so much bravery, and that adds up to all the confidence that you have in you, how much you care for others, how people care for you, and the beauty in that, and being heard when spoken, whether it be to God, the divine light, to the people in your life, to how you express yourself in your life as well. Because Taurus, not that Pluto's come out here, even though everything you've been working through with your parental and your caregivers directly relates to Pluto transforming the role that you play, perhaps your career. It's just so magical the way it lines up and how like the symphony and the dance of everyone's life and the nuances and all the signs, which is like so interesting. But you may also find that this could be a relationship with a Leo too. To compassion for your pain, your suffering, your trauma, your vulnerabilities, for also the compassion for like the excited part of yourself, the loving part of yourself, the part of you that is very capable, strong, but also so sensitive, delicate, and tasteful. Your taste is changing again. Your taste for life is changing. And I think a lot of you are welcoming it. And it's going to cause you, again, using your voice, regardless of how you've used it previously and what you are accustomed to, attuned to, what you need to be for your job, for your life, for the role that you play, and how that is shifting. And you're finding that in your expression and in your creativity. We have the Lovers at the bottom of the deck. The heart, the lungs, how you give. This is all this protection, boundaries, call it whatever, but it's equating out to, as long as you move through it, of course, and go with it. Either way, it's happening. This part of you that is so intuitive and discerning, and knowing that how you give here from this place that you're in now, or that you're going to continue to find yourself coming back to, is a place where you feel safe in your nervous system. And every time you express and are clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer with yourself, you realize that, you know, it's okay to enjoy whatever it is that you do. That it doesn't just have to be hard work. It doesn't just have to be helping someone else. It could be that simple fact that you enjoy helping other people in that particular way. You enjoy expressing in this particular way, and you simply are here to express that, because communication for you, whether it be writing, publishing, creating a program, leading people in some type of way, holding space for people, that's what's becoming more defined in your life. And you're going to start to really shift your focus towards that. This month is guiding you to a very connective journey with your intuition, with your creativity, how that affects how you think and how you show up and what you say yes and no to. So, yeah, be aware of your gifts too. Your gifts will become like very clear, and that's what I'm basically saying, is like your purpose, your gifts, your ability to see and listen, and how you can remain confident in the way that you do see things, the way that you do see life, the way that you do and help others see that for themselves with whatever it is that you do. Again, if you put your art out there, you're allowing people to see you, but you're also opening it up to a perspective. Regardless of what your perspective is on it, someone else may feel, see, hear, I guess with food, taste something different. So that's what's really, and that's what we're moving into. And I think for your kind of person, I'm just so excited. I know it can be a really hard time, but to really like allow yourself to not, it's not that you're in that fence again, but you're honing in on what's important to you, the people that are important to you, like, and getting such good quality through it all, and coming back to like the senses in the home and the taste making, and the word quaint, the word charming, like there's something about that that allows you to ground into your experience, I think, even more, so that whatever's communicated to you at this time, you feel you have to communicate being in the senses, because that's also something. So as someone who worked with kids, and as a Taurus, you know, the nature of you is like a very young toddler. You are right after the birth, so Aries is like the baby, and you're like the little baby, like learning things, and that's why it's like repetition, you know, if you think about that. And so one meditation when I used to work with kids is that, and you could do this with adults too, but specifically we did this with kids a lot, is going back to your senses, how you can stop and really sense things in. Some that may not be everyone's trajectory, but you know, you like the smell of a certain scented candle, you like the view that you have from your from your place, and or you like the way your couch feels, or the quality of your clothes that feel important to you. So you're going to find that you're investing more in those people, those relationships, those businesses. It's not just about doing it and getting it done because there's some kind of pressure, but finally all these changes are helping you realize that what we talked about years ago, that your pace is your pace, and it's actually quite important. Everyone's pace is important, but your pace for you to know in your mind, regardless of anyone else in this world, to just come back to that, to your unique process, to your unique pace, and know that it's important, very important. Okay, I guess I should just start acknowledging my clothes. Do you love the dress or what though? Like, how cute is this? And I'm just trying to, like, you know, effervescent vibes, if that makes sense. All right, Taurus, we will see you next month. All information to work with me is below. Patreon link is below. Or you can find the extended to this reading, where we'll get more in depth into everything we just talked about, as well as the link for my website for schedule, for payment options, social media, all at Venusian Wave, VenusianWave.com. Look forward to connecting with you. We'll see you next time, Taurus.